The nutritional needs of a child are so important because children are growing and so their needs are changing and so forth. And I think as parents, especially as first-time parents, you're thinking, oh my goodness, what do I feed my child? How am I going to handle all of this? So we're going to be answering all these questions and more. So you need to stay tuned. Do not touch that dial, okay? So this is the Dr. Tebz Show, and this is where we're putting your health back into your hands. So today I'm being joined by Carla Lawrence. She is a phenomenal dietitian. And you know, I think that every single parent needs to get in touch with her to ask about dietary advice. So she's working from Milnerton. And so, yeah, that's where you can find her in Cape Town. So thank you, Carla, for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so let's start from the very basics. You know, what are the nutritional needs of a child?
Okay, so this varies. That's a very loaded question. And ultimately, optimal nutrition starts in the womb. So from when mom's expecting already, her nutrition intake and what she feeds is already where it starts.
Okay.
But specifically from birth, the nutritional needs from birth to 6 months is basically breast milk. So exclusive breastfeeding is what we as dietitians always promote for the first 6 months of the child's life. And then from 6 months, you can start introducing solids. And then from 1 year upwards, they can eat basically everything in the household. But from 1 year, it's going to be a little less. And then maybe from 3 upwards, it will increase a little bit. So it's all dependent on the stage of the child's life.
Okay. Yeah. So in the hospital, I think parents don't know this, but we see children who come in with illnesses or diseases that result from malnutrition.
Yes.
And we call this kwashiorkor or marasmus.
Yes.
So can you just share a bit about why do children end up with kwashiorkor? Firstly, what is kwashiorkor and what is marasmus? And then how do the children end up in that state?
So kwashiorkor is basically the deficiency of protein, and marasmus is protein, carbohydrates, and fat. So they're not getting in enough of the energy needs for protein in kwashiorkor and all the macronutrients for marasmus.
Okay.
Basically.
Yeah, because I remember when I was doing internship, you'd see this big baby swollen up and the skin falling off, and that is what we call kwashiorkor.
Yes.
And the marasmus, as you said, is the kiddie who's very thin because they haven't been eating anything.
So yeah, because they've been almost starved of the macronutrients for a very long time, for a period of time, and it has all these effects on their bodies and the skin. We know that we need certain vitamins and minerals as well for our skin. They have brittle hair, and generally they come in, we usually see quite a lot of them come in during gastro season. So they'll come in very sick, very dehydrated, and at the hospital we'll pick up, okay, you know, the bigger picture of what's happening is a little bit more in depth.
Yes.
Poverty is one of the biggest factors. Moms don't know what to feed, and so they dilute their formula, you know, that type of thing. And also they don't breastfeed.
Oh wow.
And that is one of the biggest things, because breast milk is so cheap.
It is. It's
available
for free.
Yeah, and formula milk is quite expensive. So they start formula feeding, and then a month or two down the line they can't afford it. And then they withhold that, or they don't give enough, and that's where we start seeing these
problems. So anyway, so that's what makes this topic so important. So we don't get kwashiorkor and we don't get marasmus. So you did answer me when you said, you know, each baby has different, each child has got different nutritional needs according to the age.
Yes.
So now a parent is asking, when a child is 6 months and I'm introducing solids, how do I do that? What's the correct, or more, let me say, what's the most favorable way of doing that?
Yeah. So this is a very interesting one, because there's so much information out there as well on this. And there's a lot of things that we have to consider also on this topic. Tradition, You know, when we have babies, moms there, grands there, you know, and we all have different views and opinions on what to feed our child. But basically at 6 months, you're just introducing food and you're introducing solids. So this child has lived on breast milk for 6 months. And now you're starting to introduce food so that they can eventually start weaning off the breast milk. One of the most popular food items to introduce is our butternut, and then pumpkin as well, and then potato and sweet potato as well. And the reason for this is because they're just softer foods. So most children at 6 months don't have teeth, so we're going to give them softer meals. There is a new concept or phenomenon out there now called baby-led weaning. And I'm not an expert, but I know that this is something new that's come up. And basically where the child decides what to eat, which for me is, like I said, I don't have lots of research into it, but what I've seen and what's interesting is that the child can feel, they can eat at their own pace and taste and that type of thing, and they basically lead you and to tell you what they want to eat and what they like and what they enjoy. And that, for me, that's good, because most times we'll give them foods in like a mashed form or in a different form, and they get used to it. And once they start being introduced to like normal, you know, when they get older and you decide, okay, I just want to give them the potato and not mash the potato, then they don't know it. It's something different.
That's so true.
Yes, so baby-led weaning is basically then giving them the foods that the rest of the family is eating. But yeah, there's also caution to that. So choking, so being very careful with regards to that as well. But from 6 months, that's the most common that we'll feed the 6-month-old baby.
Okay, that's very interesting. And now let's go on to obesity. Because, you know, this, as I say, this is a phenomenon that's happening, and we're finding that we're finding obesity in younger and younger children. I think it's because of the whole fast food phenomenon where, as a parent, you don't have time. You're just like, okay, eat this, eat this, eat this. But can you talk us through what is the best way of avoiding that? Because there's kwashiorkor on the one side, but now there's obesity on the other side. So how do we not get to obesity?
So that is also a very good question. And you are right. It's normally just not having the time to make meals that are nutritious for your kids. And I mean, my son is in high school, and now they can actually go to school and ask the teacher or the principal or the secretary to buy their meals, or the parent can even order. So we can order and somebody goes, or they deliver, or, you know, so those things are starting to become quite common. And so it's readily available for the kids. So my advice there would be, from a young age, teach your kids healthy habits. And we live in a world where the reality of having a fast food restaurant around your corner, it's at the tip of our phones now, easily available. It's just the reality of life. So we can't shelter our kids from it. But what we can do is we can educate them. So we can say to them, there's nothing wrong with having McDonald's, but you're not going to have the entire meal. You're maybe just going to have a burger, or, you know, that type of thing.
Or the chips, but not the whole thing.
Yes, you don't need to have the cool drink, the burger, the chips,
ice
cream, all of those things. You know, have it in moderation. Planning lunches. So when you are doing meal planning for the family, for example, plan your lunches as well for yourself and for the kids. So you're going to say, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we are going to have sandwiches, maybe with different fillings. And then maybe on the Friday, they can have a takeaway. And on the other day, they can have leftover meals if they have facilities at school to reheat meals. So planning is very important as well.
Sure. So on that, what are some of the lunch ideas, you know, that parents, let me say, because not everyone has a mom. So, you know, grandma, auntie, dad, uncle can actually put together for someone who's going to school?
Okay, so there's lots of things that you can do
Yes.
for lunch boxes. And like I also said, it also depends on what they have available at school. So
Yes.
some schools do have microwaves, heating facilities, others don't. So if you do have that facility, leftover lunches are nice.
Yeah.
So they can take a nice warm meal to school, including your vegetables is very important. So in the
Okay.
form of salads, you
Yes.
could do that.
So then you can have those salads. So let's put that into the center of our table.
Yeah, let's move that.
Yes.
Do that. Oopsie. So lots of salads. Once again, lots of greens. So you can do the lettuce, the tomato, the cucumber. It's very nice to put on a sandwich.
It's very true.
So
Just
that's the common ones.
Yes.
And they're easy to put together very quickly. So you can do it on the sandwich, you can do it next to the sandwich, however you please. And then your carrots. So carrot sticks as well are also nice to include. So you can do a carrot as well.
Okay.
And then protein sources are important to put onto or include in the lunches as well. So just like for adults, for kids it's important. So including protein sources, so you can do things like eggs.
So you can make like a nice egg sandwich.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Fish as well. You can do a fish
And
sandwich.
this is like a tinned fish, so
Yes.
it's even quick. You just take
Yes.
it and you just make it.
Yeah.
All right. What do you
Very
usually
good.
mix it in to put it into bread and stuff?
You can do mayo.
Mayo. Okay.
You can even use, some people even use plain Greek yogurt instead of using mayo.
Oh, so literally like this. You
Yes.
take that and you just
Yes.
mix it in.
Yes.
I
You
never
can
thought of
flavor it
that.
nicely with coriander, or parsley or herbs or that type of thing, and it makes it nice and tasty. And then it's not so high in fat compared to the mayonnaise. So you can do that as well. And then we do have some vegan kids as well
Yes.
out there. So you can do chickpeas.
Okay. So
You can do a nice mashed chickpea sandwich.
Okay.
As well, even lentils or beans.
So the parents know this is what we're talking about. Say lentils, and then these would be your beans.
Yeah,
Okay. There you go. Cool.
so you can do that as well. And then your spreads,
Yes.
you can do some peanut butter,
Yeah. So that is sounding very
and
good.
you do get low sugar and low salt options. The common
Yes.
one, the very common one,
Jam.
jam. Who does not love
I
jam?
mean, really.
A PB&J sandwich, everybody loves jam. So jam is fine. It's not the end of
Okay.
the earth if they
Yes.
have jam, but it's also like with everything else, moderation. So my son prefers just peanut butter. I personally prefer the combination.
Yes.
So just putting a teaspoon of jam just to add that nice sweetness to the sandwich as well. This is fine and it's normal. Kids love this.
Okay.
It's just you're going to tell them you're not going to have this entire portion.
Yeah.
You're just going to have a little bit to give your sandwich some flavor.
Okay.
So that can be included as well for lunches. Wraps, they can have wraps for lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So wait, I'm gonna ask you one more thing. Chocolate.
I left
spread.
that one.
Chocolate spread.
Yeah.
Oh, who doesn't like chocolate?
So everybody likes chocolate, but chocolate spreads are not. It's not entirely chocolate. It's
Oh.
mostly fat. But once again, moderation. So if they're gonna have it once a week or
Yeah.
occasionally, then it shouldn't be a problem. But I specifically did not take the
We shall take
the
it back and put it over there.
because but it's not to be excluded. It's
Yes.
just that it must also be in moderation.
Okay, so
Yeah.
guys, even if they want it, no, once a month is your treat. You pass the exam. You
Yeah.
pass your test, you get a chocolate spread. And for the parents, just for them to know, this is what the wrap is. So basically, these are the whole wheat
A whole
wrap.
wheat wrap,
Yes.
yeah. So
So
try
you
and
can
include
get these-
fiber as much as possible in their diets.
Yeah.
I have seen when I still worked with kids quite extensively, constipation was quite a big thing. So make sure that your kids drink water.
Yes.
And don't just give them loads of fiber and not include a form of hydration, and give them water with it as well. That's very important.
Okay, and I want to ask you one more question, because I see the rice cake sitting there, and
Oh.
I remember my friend at school.
Yes.
I'd be eating my little sandwich, and she's eating this very fancy rice cake, and I'm like, what's that? So what are your thoughts on kids and rice cakes?
I absolutely encourage it. It's a
Okay.
different form of carbohydrate as well. So it's something different, you know, like when we were at school, we only had bread. We had bread every single day.
Yes.
But this is a different type of carb. So it's
Yeah.
something different that you can give them. And it's also, you get whole wheat ones as well. You get seeded ones. You get all different types of rice cakes. So this you can actually pair with some peanut butter, and then just sprinkle some blueberries, or cut up some strawberries, or even grapes or banana, and that's a nice
So you
snack
can put
as
it
well.
on there.
Yeah.
So even on weekends, when they say,
Yes.
"Mommy, I'm hungry," or
Yes.
"Gogo, I'm hungry," it's just this.
Yes, and it's a
simple.
tasty snack as well, so they can do that as well. You can even do egg mayo,
Yes.
fish with mayo, tuna, chickpeas.
Yeah, and they don't taste that bad at all.
No,
So now-
especially when you have it with something, it's nice.
That's true. So now let's go to the juice side. Because now this is what they have to drink when they go to school.
Yes.
So tell us a bit about what options are great and what.
Okay. So these juices are quite high in sugar.
Okay.
So for example, what's very important for parents to note is read labels. So this sugar, it says it has 20.2 grams of sugar per 200 ml.
Yes.
So
I see
if
it
you look
there.
at that,
Yes.
that's quite a lot of sugar, because converted into teaspoons, that's about 4 to 5 teaspoons of sugar in this
In
little,
that little.
Yes.
Wow.
So if you make your child a cup of tea,
Yes.
for example, you are not going to add 4 teaspoons or 5 teaspoons of sugar
In 200 ml. That's like a
into
cup.
Yes, you are not going to add 4 teaspoons of sugar.
4 teaspoons in a cup.
Yes. Yes.
That's a lot.
Also, if you look at the ingredients, it's not pure fruit as
Yes.
people think it is.
Okay.
So that's also important to note as well. So yeah, this one has about 20 teaspoons, 20 grams
Yes.
of sugar, which is about 4 to 5 teaspoons of sugar. This one we will look at, and we will be like, okay, you know, this is fine, this is
Yes.
healthy. The amount of sugar per 250 ml serving is 18.5 grams, which is about 3 to 4 teaspoons of sugar
Wow.
in a 250 ml serving.
So in
quite
a
bit
cup.
of, quite a bit of sugar as well. So my recommendation
Yes.
on this, because like I said before, kids are kids.
Yes.
And also it's quick for a mom to grab something like this and put it into the
Yes,
lunchbox.
in the lunchbox.
Yes.
Yes.
It's convenient. There's a straw. It's, you know,
It's nicely
it's just
packaged.
convenient.
Yes.
You can also get water bottles. So get them a little water bottle and encourage them to drink water. So what I did with my son, we did 1 day juice, 1 day water. So until he got used to water, then I started reducing the juice, and I would say 2 to 3 days water, and the others you can have juice.
Okay.
So that's very important. Try and teach them balance as well, because don't just keep them away from it. Because when they go to a kiddies party, or like you said, you saw your friend at school, so they see someone else with it, and they
also want.
Yeah, they also want their kids.
Yeah.
So it's important. Also tell them the repercussions. Kids are very intelligent. We underestimate them.
Yeah.
So tell them, you know, the importance of why it is that you need to have less of this and more of that. And once they understand that, then they buy into it as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what we're not saying is don't ever buy these juices, but what we're
Yes.
saying is it's moderation.
Definitely.
You know, do it carefully.
Definitely. And you've got milk here as well, I
Yes.
see.
Yeah.
And We've got some milk as well. And you also get milk in these kind of packs as well.
Okay.
So packing in a pack of milk instead of this juice will be so much more beneficial because they'll get some protein, they'll get calcium, and it's just a healthier source of hydration as well. And then things like your light or your low-cal juices.
Yeah.
And these are diluted. So there's more water than anything in there.
Yeah.
So that's also fine. But also on that note, you're not going to give them 5 glasses of it. So yeah.
And also my auras. This is my auras.
Yes.
This is my thing. This is.
This one you get a light option as well.
Yes.
If you want less sugar, so you can do that as well.
Sure. So there's actually quite a few options. I think the bottom line to everything we said is planning. Just plan it.
Planning and just empower yourself with regards to knowledge. And be very cautious with regards to what kind of information you receive from the outside. Because like I said, there's a lot of information out there. And we don't want to deprive kids, and we don't also want to give them too much. So we're not going to put a child on a low carb or high protein type of diets. Balance is very important. And they're growing.
And they're growing.
Yeah,
and they need to get those habits from a young age. So when they're older, then you've got less metabolic diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure.
Absolutely. And that I try to emphasize all the time, because people will say, you can have it, you're still young. And I'm like, no. Please don't say that, because the habits that you have now follow you into the future. So teach them when they are young.
I like that.
Yeah.
I love that. So now I want us to have a bit of a sidetrack, a side detour to us showing parents how to make a smoothie. Okay, because I think that's a beautiful option.
Yes.
For them to snack on, even on Saturdays. I mean, because you can make it and keep it in the fridge.
Yes.
And then you just give it to them for lunch, or in between.
Yeah, and they can make it themselves.
Really?
Which is also something a lot of kids enjoy. So if your things are readily available, they can just throw it into the blender and they have a smoothie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do this. Okay. All right. So, Carla.
Yes.
So, can you tell us what type of smoothie are we going to make here?
We are doing a berry smoothie.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's basically what we're making.
All right. So, can you tell us what ingredients are you putting in and how you actually make it?
Okay.
Which
so
ones you start
very, very, very simple.
Okay.
Banana.
Alright.
Put some banana in, and then some strawberries,
Okay.
some blueberries,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna add some good fats. So I'm gonna add some almonds in as well.
Almond nuts.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, just with children, it's important to remember nut allergies. Well, with anyone basically. And then just some yogurt, some plain Greek yogurt. So not flavored or no sugar.
Okay.
You could add honey to this as well if you'd like.
Okay.
Or dates as well.
Nice.
And then some milk. And we can blend.
All right, so let me close it for you.
You could put ice in as well if you'd like it.
Chilled.
Like
Okay, so
a slush
put it in
puppy.
there. All right, and now.
There you go.
This is riveting. Okay.
Yeah.
How do
And
you know
you can blend it for as long as you want.
Okay.
I like mine very smooth, so I blend it for a bit longer because I don't like the pieces in. But it's all up to you. It's
So I can keep going.
You can keep going.
Okay. Oh wow. Woo!
Yeah.
It's riveting stuff. And kids can do this on their own.
They can do it on their own if they know how to work the blender,
Yeah.
and if mom and dad's comfortable with them working the blender,
machine.
there's no problem. They can do it on their own, and they can put any fruit in as well, so they can make it to whatever taste they would like.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Wait, let me get a cup because this is too good to pass by. No, this we have to taste. Okay. All right.
You ready for the taste test?
Push it down. Yes.
So depending on how thick you want it as well, you can add more liquid. So you can even add water.
Okay.
Just to make it a little bit thinner, but this one seems fine. You can do smoothie bowls as well, so you can make it thick and have it in a bowl, and you can add oats, anything to your smoothie.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Do you want some more?
No, it looks good. Let me taste this. Oh wow, this is so good.
So good.
This is so good.
And no added sugar as well. Nothing. There's no dates. It's just the sweetness from the banana and from the berries, and that's basically it.
Oh wow, this is amazing. You know, I've always tried making smoothies and I could never get them right. So thank you. Today you helped me. It's my pleasure. Yeah, well, I'm coming to you for more recipes, right?
You are so welcome.
Yeah, they must follow Carla on Holistic Nutrition by Carla on Instagram. She's got a whole lot of smoothie recipes there.
I love smoothies.
Yeah. So Carla,
yes.
I think we have really covered this topic beautifully. Yeah. So tell me, what are your closing thoughts or your parting thoughts on this topic for parents?
So for parents, it can be a bit overwhelming, especially when you have babies. You know, people are like, what do I feed? What do I give? They seem hungry all the time. But don't be so overwhelmed. Yes. Get information, that's very important. And equip yourself with knowledge in knowing, you know, what to feed and what not to feed, but also have fun. You know, our kids don't stay kids for long. They grow up so quickly, so have fun as well with your kids. Introduce them to different types of food and keep the balance. My favorite word. Keep the balance and make sure. So in the beginning we spoke about kwashiorkor and marasmus. So in order to prevent that, try and make sure they have all their food groups in all their meals. And then to prevent obesity, just help them to know portion size and teach them that in kind ways, because we don't also want to scare our kids. And encourage activity as well. Very important. That's something that I pick up in kids nowadays.
They're just all sitting.
Activity and exercise is not emphasized that much anymore, but it's very good for them.
Yeah, it is very good for them. Yeah,
very good.
Thank you, Carla. This was amazing.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, so for you viewers at home, thank you so much for joining us today as we're discussing nutrition in children and kids. If you'd like any more information about where to find Carla, please find it in the description below. She is, you know, she can consult you, you know, face to face or virtually, because she's got an online service. So all those details will be in the description below. And if you have any questions, please put them in the comments and we'll get to them. And yeah, don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and push the notification button so that you know when we post another episode. So until next time, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and remember, your health is in your hands. God bless.